Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 12th to the 18th of June 2023. As I mentioned last week, we're heading into a summer of retrogrades of the outer planets. They all normally have a retrograde at some point over the summer. So Pluto did turn retrograde a little while back, but now we begin this week with Pluto going back into Capricorn. So we've had the first taste of Pluto in Aquarius, and that will come into real effect in January 2024 for roughly 14 to 16 years. But we're looking back now over the summer and until January, wrapping up everything that Pluto in Capricorn brought us in the last 16 years. So people with Capricorn Sun, Rising, Moon, or wherever it is in your chart, will all be aware of what the last 16 years brought, especially the last couple of years. Pluto being deconstruction primarily, and then dying to the old to be reborn to the new. That whole process being very healing, very alchemical, and very much to do with raising our energy. And Capricorn is deep within our bones. It's very, very solid and internal feeling. So we've had to fundamentally change, moving from one system to another, upgrading ourselves, losing density, embracing a lighter body, but also a lighter approach to life. But this also happens on a societal level, so we've been watching some of the old structures be dismantled, if they're no longer serving, or if they've grown to be too corrupt, and new ways of being as a group coming forwards. So those are the kind of next couple of years that we're into. We're going to see some old structures that would become too limiting or too rotten become exposed so that they can be dismantled. But it's very important to keep a positive vision of what we'd like to replace it, what's relevant, what's fair, what's equal, that kind of thing. So 6 months, Pluto just finishing off work in Capricorn, and then from January onwards we're really ready to hit the ground running, having had the last 6 months as a taster of what's to come. By the end of the week we have the new moon in Gemini, 26 degrees if you're following along. And what's significant about this one is that it happens on the day that Saturn turns retrograde. And Saturn is at 7 degrees Pisces. So the main signs of the week are Capricorn for Pluto, Gemini for the Sun and the Moon, and also we haven't really had much of a look at Saturn's journey through Pisces. So that will last for 2.5 years, and there'll be a few retrogrades in the process. And as we know, retrograde means taking the energy inwards. So Saturn's your student and your teacher, your backbone, your integrity, your self-discipline. And early Pisces can sometimes not have a sense of structure, discipline and backbone. It can sometimes be quite nebulous, lacking boundaries. And depending on where that is in your chart, Saturn has come in to actually bring some structure there, for us to find it on the inside though, rather than to prop ourselves up with other people, finances or other situations. So many people seek security in money and relationships and jobs, knowing where they stand, knowing where they're going. I hear a lot of my online female clients talking about relationships and whether it's going forwards. There's obviously a social media push at the moment for women to worry about controlling a relationship and is it going forwards towards, I suppose, a set outcome, commitment, long term, this kind of thing. And yet the whole realm of relationships is changing at the moment, to going deeper, going inwards, to finding greater understanding, greater energy that's shared and working from the inside out. So I feel as Pisces is quite an emotional sign. We've done lots of clearing of past lives and inherited emotional past stories. Now this is probably our time to stand good in ourselves, and then we can meet the other with dignity. Take responsibility for our own emotional trauma and insecurities and not project those onto other people, which happens all too frequently. So Saturn will be retrograde, going to naught Pisces by the beginning of November. So another long-term one here, 5 months to go in and shore ourselves up emotionally, let go of a lot of baggage. Pisces can get quite saturated and not know how to let go of the past. But also another aspect that is challenging with the Pisces energy is learning to trust ourselves. Worrying will make the same mistake over and over again. But if you take authority of that and decide how you want to feel and judge your decisions, your responses accordingly, then you won't be making the same mistakes again. You won't be compounding an ongoing story or letting yourself down. So Pisces has a lot of positive traits. I've just mentioned some of the more challenging ones, but look to 0 to 7 degrees Pisces in your chart by house and natal planets involved to see where you can really go in and firm your foundations, become sovereign to your soul self, and escape repeating the past while releasing past baggage. So that's the signature tune of this new moon in Gemini, 26 degrees Gemini, for anybody that wants to see where that is in their chart as well. And obviously with Mercury in Gemini, we do have a very bright early summer, vibrant energy, Sun, Moon and Mercury all travelling through the early summer air sign. Can make things a little bit mental, but I feel with the Pluto retrograde and the Saturn retrograde, that will really temper and balance out things elementally at this time. And of course we've got Venus and Mars in Leo, so that brings in the fire. So we have quite a nice elemental balance, things working as always on many different wavelengths, some very short aspects, some going to go on for years. So it's a case of learning to determine and distinguish what you are feeling the influence of. And none of this is because the planets are influencing you and forcing you to do anything. We're subtle transmitter receivers, we're subtle sentient beings. So it's more like a general weather that we're all involved in, can be heading towards big changes as a group and towards personal breakthroughs. But this is all you in direct connection and at the steering wheel of what to do with these energies. So the direction is inwards, Pluto in Capricorn, wrapping things up till January, authenticity, integrity. Saturn going retrograde till November, early degrees of Pisces, realising that the way that we do control the outside is by being responsible for what's going on the inside. So if we do want to improve finance and relationships and all of those kind of things, we have to go and have a look at our fears, feelings, doubts, blocks, etc. What we're carrying with us inside and clear that out. So control versus surrender. Don't try and fix the outside, but have a look at what's getting in the way of your natural, abundant flow deep within the cells of your body, as every retrograde brings a reward for work done. But all told, quite a gentle energy. If you'd like to see where this is happening for you, I'm happy to go on those journeys inward with you. I offer coaching using your chart as a guide because we're all wired up very, very differently. I offer chart readings and teaching astrology, tarot, numerology and more. So please do contact me, zoeastro@gmail.com. I'm available online or in person in North London, and all sessions are 1 hour and recorded for you to keep and listen back to. I have these videos and more on my YouTube channel Zoe Astro, and post links on my Instagram zoe7 and Facebook at astrozo. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.